Today I'm going to turn Shawal into Eren Yeager and the Attack Titan, which means I have to create Shigashina or Maria, hair simulation, distraction effects, blah 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 blah. Starting off, Shigashina is way too big for me to model, so I think I'm just going to have to look for some free assets online. Wow, this looks perfect. I think it's not too big to model after all. I think I'm just going to have to do it in Cinema 4D. In Cinema 4D, it all starts with the cube, extrudes, pull-ins and pull-outs, stretches and stretch-outs, and then I'm done with the base models. Now I just have to create the foundations for the building blocks and duplicate the base models that I've created to come up with something. Then I just downloaded assets from the internet, and with the help of Materialize, I was able to extract the bump textures and the reflective textures, I think, and then I textured the blue model. Okay, so before we continue, we definitely have to shoot something. So let's go shoot some scenes that are perfectly set up in screen. But before that, I haven't shown you the storyboard we are even going to use. So what are we even going to shoot? The first scene is him falling down, even though you're not going to understand what it is, but he's falling down. Then the next scene is him falling down from the side. It's going to be a close-up shot, and then he opens his eye, and then it gets into a wide shot of him falling down, and then thunder goes like and then he turns into the Titan, and that's and then it's done. After everything, these were the shots that we came up with. Yeah, boy. I have to start trying to render my 3D scenes. But before that, I need to get some camera data inside of After Effects and then send it into Cinema 4D before I can start rendering. And that is because my scene is going to be dark. And so if I bring it into After Effects, I need to add 3D elements. And before I can do that, I need to 3D track my scene. And 3D tracking deals with what? Details. And it's going to be a dark scene, so there are definitely not going to be enough details. So why don't I create the camera data inside of After Effects and then send it into Cinema 4D so they will all have identical cameras. So when I bring my render back into After Effects, I'm not going to make it 3D, but whatever I'm going to make it 3D will follow the previous camera that I created inside of After Effects. I hope I'm not confusing anybody. After creating all the camera data for all of the shots, I left one shot and he's going to be falling down and then turn into the Titan. But for this, I decided to go into the forest with my personal assistant, and then we had to go and do some approximation. I would have showed you the video that I shot. Okay. According to Google, the size of the Attack Titan is 15 meters. I need some camera data because if I'm to do it inside of After Effects, it will be nice, but it's going to look fake, and I need some sort of handheld movement. 1 meter should be, if I'm to really judge, 1 meter, we are just approximating. So 2, if we start here, how big a Titan is. So if I'm to approximate, I think if I film, I can place a solid up somewhere there so it can show the height of the Titan. Or I think we're going to start filming the references for the camera data. Yeah, it's time to see whether I can enhance the shots that we took to make him look like a Titan. Nope. Second alternative. Oh my god, we found the perfect mod. It's rigged and it's not textured, but it's free. Okay, so we can do the texturing. Since I'm dealing with the 3D model, I have 3 ways to animate my character. The first way is Mixamo, which I'm not going to be explaining how to use Mixamo, but then Shawal didn't like the character animation, so we had to kick that one off. And the second one is from Alex Rose's video, where he took a video onto a website, then it took all the movements from his body and transferred it onto the character, blah blah blah. So I decided to go onto the website, and then they gave me a free trial. So it's working for their model, so I think it's going to work for mine. So let me upload it. So I think I'm going to have to go with the third method, which is frame by frame animation. I decided to go into Cinema 4D, set up a motion tracker, blah blah, and then I put my video I shot Shawal as the title, which didn't work, as a reference. And then I started animating frame by frame, 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 and in the end it worked. And one fun fact is I didn't watch a tutorial, so the next time you go onto Google and then you search for best man to animate without watching the tutorial in less than 14 hours. Right now I have a perfect animation. I now need to texture the base model, and then when I have my animation, I can just slap the textures from the base model onto the animation. Then I'm going to have a perfect animated Eren Yeager with a texture, with his eyes. And I forgot to talk about the hair. I just selected some polygons on the head and then I had the hair too. When the character lands, there has to be distraction. So I think I now have to learn distraction effects. So I went online and found this lovely channel called Puria, and then he helped me with how to create distraction effects. Something like this. Well, you know the thing. So I now have to apply this knowledge onto my Shina model, and then I'm done. I have everything. I now have to render the buildings, the destruction character, the mats, the hair simulation for the... Oh, I haven't made the hair simulation for the character. Concentrate. So it's simple to find a head model or a sphere, or find a 3D scan of your head, or just find anything which is similar to your head. Now you're going to go into polygon mode and select all the polygons where you think hair is supposed to happen. Like this. If you're a human being, your polygons are somewhere here. And then you're just going to click on simulate and then add hair, or you go into corona and then you add hair. And then you're going to tweak with the materials until you find something perfect. And then you're going to match the lighting to your scene, or if you want, you can just create a simple sky, but then inside of compositing you're going to do a shit ton of work trying to match all the lighting to your scene itself. So it's better to use the HDRI sky that you used inside your main project, or all the lights that you use, just to make sure that you don't do a shit ton of work inside of compositing. And then you're just going to render everything as an alpha sequence. A PNG sequence. And then you're done. I think I have to render now. So the top flying scene took 2 days, the destruction took 4 days, and then the 3D hair work took about 3.5 days. Sorry, 4 days in total. Matte for the destruction, since I wasn't really caring about quality, I just needed a black and white matte so I can use a Luma matte to put my character behind later. It took about just 4 hours, and the character itself took about 3 or 4 days. So in all, it's going to be like... So for the destruction part, I didn't really have any control over this because it rendered for 4 days and I can't leave my machine on for 4 days. So I had to cut all the renders in pieces and pieces. Here is the thing. Whenever I'm coming home from work or whenever I'm going to work, I have to cut the rendering, and then when I get to work, I'll restart the rendering. And every single time that I restarted the rendering, the simulation was different. So you can see cut scenes inside of it. And a mistake isn't a mistake if you know it's a mistake and you have no control over it. Now the thing is, since we were not using a proper green screen and we were working with natural light, so we had some shadows on the green screen. So I had to use Epson to correct all those things and then enhance my character and add those things that Eren has on his face, add some little bit of hairs on his head and all those things on a single frame. And then I placed it inside of Epson, and then it ran through the software, and it's only Epson which knows what it does to the footage, but then it all comes out clean. Now, here's the last part. Compositing. Here's where I add all my 3D assets with my real-time footage and then color match all of them to match, and then I add assets from Footage Crate. Oh, Footage Crate! What is Production Crate? Production Crate is a website where you can find the best VFX assets, 3D models, sound effects, graphics, scripts and plugins, and a whole lot of things for your VFX projects. I always say this, Production Crate is basically like the Netflix for a VFX artist. A VFX artist who says he's a VFX artist without the Production Crate license is like Adam realizing that he was nicked inside the Garden of Eden and then he kept walking around like me in English, understand? Production Crate has a free plan and a paid plan. They gifted me the paid plan, so check the first link in the description to know more about Production Crate. And now I'm just going to tell you every single asset that I used inside of this video was from Production Crate. A big thank you to Production Crate for not sponsoring this video, for making this video possible. I'm going to add a whole bunch of explosions, smoke, dust, and lens flares, lightning, a whole bunch of things just to make the scene look epic. And then I'm going to add a final color grade, and then I present to you the final video.